Globes, you know, the readership is getting smaller, the advertising budget there is getting smaller, and so the number of people and it's because the number of people that are using that as their only or primary resource is getting smaller. We did a survey of the theater community about 2 years ago of audiences attending the small and mid-sized theater companies, and collected results from about 4,000 audience members, and learned that the younger audiences are finding their information online. Well, that's not a surprise, but it means that we as a community need to react to that. How do we find the sources that people are looking at online?
It's absurd. It's not even reporting on the arts. It's not even listing the arts. You would think that we were a farming town in Montana, not to say anything bad about Montana, to look at the arts in the Globe. This is something Larry has fought.
I do think that the future of writing about theater and talking about theater is going to be going to the web. And the Theater Mirror was the pioneer in bringing conversation, not just review conversation, but discussion between the theater community and others. And nobody had been doing that in Boston before Theater Mirror.
I don't particularly think that reviewers ought to have that much power. I think the people who have seen the show, you know, you ask people who are leaving, or someone who says, oh, I saw a show last week, their opinion is probably more important than the review in the Globe.
And in the past, it was, you know, a rave review by a critic could bring in audience. Now, a rave review from a critic will not necessarily bring in audience, but a pan from a critic will keep them away. I particularly remember when the first time the Boston Globe came, we were in the middle of our first 7-play season that we were just putting up a show every 3 weeks or something. And half our actors were completely tired and the other were getting ready for the next show, and my crazy mentor was coming to direct us. So it was this in-between show, and we weren't expecting the Globe to come at all. And the Globe came, and we're like, we don't have, you know, they called us Friday night and they said, we're coming to the Saturday performance, and we had all of 4 tickets sold. So one of our actors is less of an actor and more of a socialite, and so she called all our friends. And by the next night, there were 50 people in the house, and they were all saying, where's the reviewer? And the actors were so nervous that it was the Globe or whatever it was, that they put on one of the worst performances we've ever done of anything. The critic ripped it apart. I was stupid enough that I thanked him for coming, and he looked at me with this huge dirty look that I shouldn't be talking to him, and he walked away and was completely annoyed and wrote a scathing review that it was one of the least funny plays he had ever seen. And it was so funny because that same production, that same play we'd put on elsewhere to standing ovations and things.
Many of the critics go hoping you suck. They do. They go hoping you suck so they can write very interesting, very mean, pointed, but brilliant pieces about you. And they're looking for things. Larry doesn't do that. He comes to a show open-minded, but he wants it to be good.
Now this one, I'm going to guess again. I think if I'm remembering right, I think the train's like 5:45. I think
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's right. So why don't we say 5:45? This time Back Bay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, Back Bay. And this time Larry sometimes gets a little mixed up because sometimes he'll go to the wrong station. Sometimes, the other day he did this.
Yes, I went to the wrong station, and.
But he made it. He was early enough. He actually made the show.
I thought I was going to miss it totally.
There's a few people in Boston whose dedication to the theater is just bizarre, and it's a blessing. And Larry Stark is one of them. Kay Bourne is one of them. Barry Andelman is one of them. There are these people who care so much about it that I don't understand. But we are truly blessed to have people like that, because those are the people who are going to change Boston's theatrical climate.
The deal is that new people aren't going to the theater. Young people aren't going. My daughter goes to Emerson. She and her friends never go to see shows. I mean, that's insane, okay? It's insane. There's something wrong here. they're going to movies. They're not going to theater. We got to find ways to get them to go see theater. It's not going to be easy, okay? It never has been. But I think we have bigger challenges than ever now.
Sometimes I think that theater, which I think is the last bastion of humanism, has to operate on a human scale. When you start getting into sizes of casting pools or sets that are out of human scale, theater starts to lose its strength. And that's simultaneously a liability and an asset. I think in keeping the scale human, we are capable of connecting with human beings in a way that no other medium can. Not film, not radio, not television, not anything. But by the same token, it is limited in its scope. All theater is local. You have to physically be in a theater to appreciate a performance.
Yeah, we lose track of there's an audience 5 feet away. Why does an audience want to go here? Because someone's heart's falling out right there. And that's really interesting and moving to see. And I think if you can market it that way, it's just hearts exploding or something, you know, is people forget. They think theater, they think dry, they think intellectual. If we refocus it and think about just the humanity of it, there's a, you know, that you're listening for 2 hours to someone's story, and that makes me feel closer. I mean, hopefully they'll dig that.
I continually say this of theater, that it is the only art form that has a reciprocal response experience. I tell a joke, you laugh, I feel good about it. And that, to me, is what makes theater theater. You can sit and watch it on a box, on a screen, but you don't have that experience.
There's so many things in life that we would want to do or we want to express, but our society really doesn't make room for that. But theater allows you to express all these things in yourself. It allows you to get rid of these pent-up emotions and feelings. It allows you to do things on stage that you would never do in real life.
If you simplify things and do it with integrity, the audience will follow you and go along with it, and they bring part of their imagination to it, and I think that's what makes live theater exciting. It's not all visually spelled out the way action films are with all the special effects. They have to fill in the blanks, so you're asking them to do work, and especially with the immediacy of this space, it just draws them in, and that's what I think makes live theater exciting, especially anything can happen, and so often does. So
These people fascinate me. I don't have a television set. I occasionally have had one in the past, but it's a waste of time. Especially when you can sit in the same space as someone breathing the same air you are and watch the story take place right in front of you. Real people arguing, enjoying, laughing right in front of you. And allowing you to laugh with them. Theater's wonderful.